Welcome back to the programs, and here with us, please welcome Dr. Parin Panishapak, Deputy Leader and Head of Economic Team from Democrat Party, and Dr. Subhashai Pajarayanon, CEO and Founder at Rise Corporate Innovations Powerhouse. สวัสดีค่ะ
สวัสดีครับสวัสดีครับ Good morning. Good morning.
Good morning. How are you this morning?
Good. Hope you are.
Heavy issue in the morning, so making us wake up.
So today I would like to maybe talk about some of the soft discussions about the cryptocurrency situation in Thailand right now. As the latest development, there are a lot of things to catch up, whether there is the 15% off withholding tax, or there are new rules like how to calculate tax by using the FIFO method or the moving average cost method. However, this type of thing are still like unclear for many. So I would like to ask experts from you too, like where are we now, and what do you think about this? Who benefits from this all new rules? คุณปรินทร์คะ
Well, as you probably know, Kunina, this is an issue worth getting up for because it's very important. And I usually try to focus on the big picture, on the macro picture, where I think I once told you that I am in favor of the slogan "crypto no tax," meaning that I don't think it is time to tax the crypto investors, nor is it time to tax the people who are the issuers of the tokens. What I mean by this is that at the moment, the several taxes that are being levied on the crypto spheres, I think is uncalled for and unjust at the time being. And if you look at international standards, most countries around the world do not have tax on the crypto assets at the moment. People who are listening to this program may be aware that crypto assets like Bitcoin, it could be NFT, non-fungible tokens, which are the digital arts. It could be some of the altcoins, some of the meme coins like Doge coins and various other assets that could be digital assets. It's not there just for investment purposes and for trading. Some people, yes, trade and benefit from it. And eventually I am in agreement that we should tax investor or punters or those who pump and dump. Those I'm in agreement with. In the long term, you can tax them. But in the short term, if you tax them now, when we still, I don't think we have a global standards or a global readiness. People will just leave Thailand and go and trade elsewhere. They can go and trade on Binance that you mentioned, the owner, Cici, who I've met, several years ago in Thailand when he came for the Forbes forum. He has grand visions, and we can perhaps discuss other days, but on that vision. But people will be leaving to trade on his platform or go to Gate.io. There are several other opportunities out there that people don't just need to use Thai platform. And it would be a real shame to lose the quality of Thai big companies and unicorns that are growing up in this financial technology or fintech space like BitCup or Satang Pro, Band Protocol, several firms that are growing up fast in this space. Secondly, when you say that tokens, when people are issuing tokens like investment tokens, like a Sansiri company has a Siri Hub token, or when JMart from Kuntum Adisak Sukumuthiya has JFin coin. These coins, especially the Siri Hub tokens, has been deemed as investment token as a items of goods. When you see it as a goods, then they are liable for VAT. When you sell them more than 1.8 million baht per year, then you are liable to pay VAT tax 7%. This is on top of the trading capital gain tax that you have to pay minimum around, well, depends how you deduct it from your other incomes, but around 15% or more for some people who has more income. So for me, it is unfair. When you look at the stock exchange of Thailand, the people are investing there doesn't pay tax except on dividends of 10%. They don't pay capital gain tax. They don't pay VAT. So for me, I think it also has to need to comparison on fairness as well, because the big guys are getting away on the stock exchange of Thailand. Why are we not supporting the SME, the startup, to raise capital on the digital asset platform?
Okay, ครับ ขอบคุณครับ Dr. Kit ครับ how about you think about this? Is it being fair, or is it still too early stage to levy tax on them, or just let it go for a while? What do you think about this?
Yeah, actually, I quite agree with Kun Print said earlier. I mean, we need to look at this angle from the fairness. for sure, right? The big guys, small guys, right? And also like from the country perspective, right? How we gonna get a tax to using that money to improve our country. Yeah, actually, like I have before the handbook from the revenue department came out. I just thinking with myself like, oh yeah, if we can be one day we can be like crypto wonderland, yeah, for the world, that might be something very cool, right? Because as we see a lot of like people, yeah, start to growing the economy of the crypto space in a country. Maybe if we be able to attract like digital nomad and those come to Thailand, they will spend more money. They will work more here. Yeah, that might help. Yeah, our country to get revenue, the VAT or yeah other things like along the way. Right. So that's what I thought in the beginning.
I see ครับคุณนีน่าครับ
You see, Dr. Kip's point there is very valid because if you're collecting tax now, you're only going to collect a very little amount. If you grow the ecosystem and you create incentives to attract foreign investors in this blockchain space, crypto space, or the new economy space, attract them to live here, to work here. Thailand has plenty of talents and plenty of good things, but we may be lacking high quality blockchain developers and programmers. People often complain that it's so hard to find these new programmers. So have incentive to attract them to live here. People who use Bitcoin, people who use, living in this crypto world, as we mentioned it, for them to live and work here in the long term. Then once the ecosystem is so big and they set up corporates here, they live here, they work here, they hire Thai employees, then you can collect corporate tax or VAT or various other form of income taxes that I'm sure everyone will be happy to pay.
Dr. Kim ครับ sorry
Just on top of that, right?
Dr. Kit ครับ
No, just on top of that, just to want to add supplement from what Rubin just said, right? Because let's say if we be able to do this in a short run, right? We're not talking about the long term, but in a short run, if we be able to bring like the digital nomads and also like more crypto enthusiasts, developers, blockchain developers around the world, which is very very hard to find these days, to come to Thailand, right? So that's I think that's helped like on the tourism industry as well. Yeah, because right now we got hit by COVID, and then in the short run we need our infrastructure that we built over the past like 10-20 years. We need more like foreigner, right? So like the talent, yeah, to come.
Dr. Kit ครับ it seem like we don't see the same picture for the regulator. For the regulator, their job is to create laws and regulations, and this is a like new wave of economy. So how do you think this is just a testing the waters? Like this is our job to have the regulation and rules out first and then test it, or they're really serious about imposing this? Because this economy is also happening in other countries and economies too. So we can see their examples. And what do you think about this, Dr. Kit ครับ
Yeah, I think frankly speaking, if we putting the country goal, like to grow everything for the country, growing GDP, right? Like make people's lives better, right? So everybody need to work together. Yeah. For example, like I always believe that the law, or legislation that gonna come out, need to follow the technologies that have changed, right? So that's why we need to work closely. With all the stakeholder. I think that I saw Rubin also working on that a lot, right? And then happy to see that we can bring all people together, to make the benefit for the country.
ครับดร.ปินครับ I believe that we have technocrat and also very well advanced people in the government, and with your contact or experience, do you think that their mindset already advancing, or they're just like living in the old world now? I'm not sure about it. Can you elaborate? Give me some pictures about this one.
The power in this space, whether or not to support the crypto let's say, ecosystem, as well as the blockchain ecosystem. The power lays within the Prime Minister office and also the Minister of Finance. So unfortunately, the influences from my side of the Democrat Party, and also we run the Agriculture Ministry, the Commerce Ministry, and the Social Welfare. We did make some constructive advices and has been bringing stakeholders within the community to meet with the ministers and with the people within the revenue department. As Dr. Kit has mentioned, we're trying our best to be constructive and be creative in trying to create this ecosystem and dialogues between the government's officials as well as people who are participating in this. But I think that their mindset here, I think for me, is still one where they're using the rule of law to control, to be like a good daddy, to show that they don't want to see too many scams and too many things holes. And it is little bit disappointing. I mean, they do listen to us, and as a result of listening, they're adjusting some minor tweaks here and there to make sure that people can actually effectively pay the taxes that has actually been in law since 3 or 4 years ago when the digital asset executive decree came out. But as I say, I don't think the Prime Minister nor the Minister of Finance comprehend the big picture of how we want to create a better atmosphere of incentiveness and to attract the foreign investors as well as the people who are going to be the key to build this whole ecosystem to come and live and work in Thailand. Because if they understand this, then they may be they would have supported this whole kind of investment areas like they did for the Stock Exchange of Thailand, which has been exempted from paying taxes. Investors don't have to pay capital gain tax for the last 30 odd years. The Stock Exchange of Thailand, which I was a governor on the board of governors. The stock SET has been in function for 48 years, and 30 something out of those years are without the need to pay taxes for investors. So I think there are comparisons there that the government is saying one thing, that they want to support the startup and SME while doing other things.
I would like to ask Dr. Brin, when you mentioned about it's not time yet, I would like to know, if it's not time now, when is it the right time?
Well, we propose 5 years from now. The reason I say that is because I believe that the ecosystem is now is in a growing phase. I mean, yes, there are some speculative people who want to just come in for the sheer joy of making profits from the trades, and that's fine. That's happening in a free liberal economy. But what you have to understand is that those people are important when you want to raise capital for startups and SME. I mean, Dr. Kit can elaborate on this, but if you look at startups in Thailand, why are we lacking more companies that are sizable, or they call it unicorns, like Indonesia or Malaysia or Singapore? Part of the reason, besides the skilled labor and besides of other technological know-how and research and development, which is low in budget spending, is also this fact on the difficulty of getting access to cheaper and fairer capital. And good capital that comes cheaper and fairer is very important. If you are a startup and you walk up to the commercial banks now, it's very tough to get capital, to get finance. If you go to Stock Exchange of Thailand to raise capital now, it's also not easy. If you're a small, tiny company, you may get on the SME board. But again, there are several regulations and hurdles to get through before you go there. But if you use a digital asset platform, then it's a faster way to raise capital. And I think that's important, that we should provide the better education for the people at large, and to provide a better knowledge and provide better channels for access to raise finance for startups before we start taxing them and driving away elsewhere. Because good startup, they go and raise capital abroad now because of this tax issue. They're not staying in Thailand, and it's a brain drain that we don't want to see.
All right. For what Dr. Prince just said, I'd like to ask Dr. Kit, because he's involved with a lot of investment and startup, and for the past 2 years, your portfolio is growing up very fast for the rise. So what do you see the reaction in Thailand, also elsewhere, about this taxation from the startup point of view?
Yeah, taking the startup point of view, I think the startup they want to focusing on what they're working on. They don't want to bother much about the regulatories or kind of like the change of the rules, right? So that's why we see many startup that start to setting up their company or moving their headquarters like elsewhere. Yeah, so that's the country like Singapore or the crypto company, they would like to kind of like setting up, prefer the tax haven country, for example, like BVI or Cayman. Yeah, we see that more and more. So but still, I think yes, this is the complex issue, right? Yeah, because we need to look at the country where they will get tax, and then we also need to look at the regulatory. Yeah, we also need to look at kind of the fairness. So it's kind to me it's super complex issue that we cannot make decision really fast. But how? Yeah, the more important question is how we be able to support entrepreneur and also the tech talent. Yeah, in like in Thailand and also in the world. Yeah, to make our country as the next big tech hub, right? So that's what I think it should be good for the country.
Now
Well,
I
one
would like
issue
to
that
ask.
came out when we met, just very
Ka,
quickly,
go ahead,
one
Ka.
issue that came out when we met the finance minister was that he mentioned that it is good to collect more taxes, to use it to develop other parts of the economy, like healthcare, like education, and various other things that we need to develop in Thailand. While I agree that yes, collecting taxes to improve other infrastructures the country is needed, besides the point that I already mentioned to you about people leaving to going abroad, you know, if the governments need to collect taxes in the short term, they should also look at other forms of digital economy. For example, the big foreign corporates like Facebook or even Google, you know, or Airbnb, who are, by the way, still illegal in Thailand in the sense that they're breaking some of the public using of the rooms and all this stuff. You should collect taxes from those big mega platforms from abroad, you know, before taxing the Thai domestic platform or investors on Thai platforms. That way, I think it would be fair because those big guys can afford to pay corporate taxes, and they're not paying corporate taxes in Thailand for claiming that they double taxation on various other things. But that's area you could collect. And also on carbon emissions, there's green economy. We want to have here the BCG, the bioeconomy. So collect taxes from the people who are the polluters, you know, because those are areas to raise revenue. So for me, that's the message to the Ministry of Finance. If they need to collect more taxes, no point to chasing from crypto investor or digital assets. Go to other areas that there are more money, more juices to be squeezed from.
ใช่ครับคุณนีน่าครับ
Sorry, my connection was very bad earlier. I can see the light in your eyes, Dr. Prince. But I would like to ask about, like, we see the tax the handbook. Let's say we see the handbooks that came out, and it's actually caused a lot of confusions for crypto traders. Let's say do you think that this is actually effective, or do you think that what should be their much more clearer direction than this? Because most of the people who are into this are wondering, like, what should I do?
Well,
right? So I would like to ask Dr. Prince.
The textbooks itself from the Revenue Department is useful in the sense that they're trying to go step by step. So in detail, it is useful guidance. But I think what is a little bit worrying is also how people would calculate the costs that they have when they enter the trades. Because, okay, if you do the robo trading or you do the automation trading using robots and various form of other kind of using technology to trade, then that's fine. They may automatically calculate your cost for you and your prices, and then you know the profit and loss, and that could be used to calculate your tax liabilities. But sometimes, a lot of time when people trade on their own, they don't know their costs because some people, what do they use? First in, first out, moving average, and various other forms. Because many will claim that first in, first out would be very unfair to traders, and traders have already voiced this matter to the revenue departments to clarify how they would define the exact ways of calculating the cost. I think there's also burdens that will be put on more to the exchanges in Thailand, because exchanges in Thailand do have data that they can help us calculate the profit and losses from the trades, and this may be one of the ways to clarify easier in the future. But again, this is up to the revenue department whether they would shift this burden of collecting this useful data in terms of tax liability for the 5 exchanges like Stang Pro, Upbit, Sipmex, and Bitasa to be their responsibility to do this, because otherwise it will be cumbersome and very difficult for traders, investors to calculate their profitabilities and losses in order to file the taxes properly ครับ
ครับ Dr. Kit ครับ I'm curious. People must come to you and ask about the tax, also how to deal with the cryptocurrency, and also you also have the interest in this. What would you recommend to your friends or your family members about the taxation now?
Yeah, I think they should if they do the trade as the guidebook already came out, they should follow it. Yeah, so that would be my recommendation. But what I expect to see, like according to what Prince just said as well, I think the people are gonna be some people might feel like, oh, this is too cumbersome. So okay, I'm going to trade via Binance or like other like crypto exchange internationally, right? So that's mean we can attack less than what we gonna get attacked less than what we should, right? So that's why I mean I also think growing the crypto economy first, right? So that to the point that it's big enough, and then we start to tax it might be also like the good idea.
I would like to ask Dr. Kit. So you mentioned about like we should have more educations, we should have more knowledge on this situation. So do you think that with a lot of Thai people are into cryptocurrencies right now, seeing from November last year until now, do you think that the government should have any clear plan or should do something to support this as a properly like some sort of guidebook or some sort of measures or educate people to have more clearer picture in this?
Yeah, I think for the government to have the clearer plan is for sure, right? But another thing that I think because these technologies and also the global change in the VUCA world is moving so fast. So it's meaning that the government also need to adapt very fast as well. So something that I think is so hard this day that if you want to issue the law and then it's going to be effective for like 10 years and no change on that. Right? So yeah, because in crypto world, look at the crypto world. Right? Crypto world, they're trading 24/7. So if you take that, right, like the stock exchange, let's say normal stock exchange only 40 hours a week, right? So that's kind of like 3 times faster in the crypto world, right? So that
24 hours.
Yeah, let's say 1 year in crypto world is equal to 3 years in the traditional like world, right? So if you plan something and then you say this is going to be like 5-year plan, that 5-year plan going to become 15 years plan in the crypto world. So that doesn't make sense anymore. Yeah, so we need to. I think the government need to adapt quickly, with the speed of change. Yeah, that gonna and make our country stay competitive always, right? So that should be something that very important to me.
What would be your advice to the government, Dr. Kit?
Yeah, so government need to having more people that know the space really well, right? They want to if you're looking at and then that's a lot of the big change, kind of like overhaul, right? Because we need kind of like more like the smart people that and then working hard people, how to align incentive for those people to work for the government, just like for example like Singapore government, right? When I work with Singapore government, I work with them for like 4 years right now. Yeah, I see like all the smart people there, right? And then they run it as a company, Singapore company, right? So not Singapore country as a country. So that's why I feel if we want to stay competitive, we need to have the talent. Which coming back to other topics like education, how we're gonna do the better education in our country. That's gonna take another few hours to discuss about this.
What about Dr. Prince? What do you think about this? Do you think that the government should have clearer picture? Do you think that this government should have a more supportive plan or directions towards this?
The government should do as little as possible on the regulatory front. Sometimes doing too much is damaging,
Okay.
Less is more on this front for sure. Government needs to learn to understand this. More regulatories, more controls they try to put on an industry that's still growing fast, industry that defies borders, that there is no borders, it's technology driven across the world. This will be kind of a death nail in the coffin if the governments do too much to control. It's a shame that we lose the opportunity. What they should do is focusing on giving people more education since the earlier age. I am very much pro putting lessons like investment lessons or savings lesson, as well as looking at digital economy into the curriculum for the younger years, primary schools. So that could be done very fast. Like how Kun Ying Kalaya Sopon the Deputy Minister Education, she's putting coding lessons for the 8 or 9-year-olds in schools. That should be done more to promote and to nurture new talents into the economy. That's what the government should be doing.
I see,ครับ. So I think we should have more time for this. The tax not finishing yet, but another thing that we are interested in is a blockchain technology. Dr. Kit, can you tell us the picture for the future of the Thailand blockchain technology?
Yeah, as mentioned earlier, I think it's going to be growing. Yeah, because we see like kids this day. Let's say last week, I just mentoring the team. Yeah, that in the third year of like the university, like engineering school, computer science school. Yeah, they all start working on like the blockchain project. So-called Web3, right? So yes, and I think now many people debate about the Web 2 and Web 3, which Web 2, for example, like a platform, like Facebook, like Netflix that we are using right now, and Web 3 is more like the decentralized version of it, right? How to empower more people to using it at less cost, right? So that's kind of like the things that in the industry we are talking every day. So very early stage, but also have the big potential to grow very fast. Yeah, so I think that's going to be the trend. So if you're talking about the trend, for this year for blockchain, I would say the top one continue to be DeFi. Yeah, number one. And also like GameFi that is growing. We have like Thai company and also Southeast Asia company that raised over $1 billion Thai baht from last year until this year. So GameFi going to be something that is growing as well. And the last one going to be the Web3, which is not game, not finance, but something else. Yeah, that let people dive deeper into the decentralized world. For example, like the metaverse NFT like platform.
That's fascinating. Dr. Kit, the other day we interviewed Kun Pampawut, and he mentioned that actually we have many talented kids, but what we are lacking is the number of people who train them or coach them or like being the mentor for them. So do you think that how Thailand develop this, because it's not easy to get someone who knows business side and also technology side and also the investment in the future together in one person. So what do you think about this one?
Yeah, I think mentoring is a key. I'm super lucky that to join like a mentoring program like last year called iMedMax. Yeah, which is a great program. Yeah, like you guys can check it out. Also, like because of that, right? I also super inspired to set up the mentoring platform myself. So right now the platform called like Athena Mentor. Yeah, you can
Athena Mentor.
Yeah, Athena Mentor. Yeah, like the ATHENA. Athena, and then mentor. Like so because we think mentoring is very important. It's so hard. Let's say if I ping like people like Kun Prin to his LinkedIn, probably he might if I'm the small kid, probably me myself cannot answer all the LinkedIn message, right? But then how we be able to get the learning from the experienced guy. Yeah, so that's why we think the platform gonna help. You can reach out and then you can like ask the question. You can jump on a Zoom call, or like Google Meet call, like to learn more about I think the mentoring coaching, going to be one of the key things that we should adopt more. As we've seen, like some university already start that. If you've seen the program called SHAM program from Chulalongkorn University, or AIM program, right? AIM mentorship program from Thammasat University. Also, the great example that mentorship going to help young leaders to get to another stage of their life.
Okay, thanks a lot.
I would like to ask Dr. Prin about this.
Right.
Would there be anything or any mentoring coaching lessons from the government side too?
Well,
They
that's
are
what
doing?
we hope to see more of. I mean, that's what I mentioned about. I mean, there are various efforts, I think, in other areas of digital economy that governments are trying to do coaching or try to mentor. I was on the board of the National Innovation Agency, NIA, which are working hard to nurture the talents in the startup field. And Dr. Kit probably noticed that NIA also working hard. As well as the Stock Exchange of Thailand have some coaching or some session that would train or give financial literacy lessons to the people, young upcoming entrepreneurs. But in the digital asset space, I think this is still lacking plenty of. I mean, Security Exchange Commission, SEC, or Bank of Thailand sometimes try to host some seminars and various things, which I commend them for good jobs that they're trying to host the basic knowledge on digital asset, especially from the SEC, Golator, who are trying to work on this. I see various online seminars coming from them. But I mean, coaching or mentoring in the sense that Dr. Kit has mentioned in details, I don't see any kind of government agencies are doing it on the digital assets in so much details yet. And I hope this is one area where we'll be doing more of and developing to the future, because we're lacking skilled laborers, and to create the new skilled laborers, the jobs of tomorrow for the Thai people, we will need to start early, start young.
Okay,ค่ะ. So lastค่ะ, what would be your conclusion towards this dilemma? This that we have to, whether we gotta pay tax or we're not, what are the what should we do? Should we how are we going to calculate all those things? What do you think about this?
Well, I hope that Ministry of Finance may be able to have a U-turn after they see all the evidences that if they have a U-turn and exempt whether it's income tax, capital gain tax, or VAT on digital assets for the time being for the next 5 years, they will in turn be able to collect much more taxes 5 years from now and in the long-term future, that they will attract more talents to live and work in Thailand. So I hope they see that sense and do a U-turn. But of course, I mean, within the lives of the current parliament, it's unrealistic perhaps for them to do a U-turn on this. I just hope that there will be more clarification forthcoming, even on the VAT front, where they're seeing the digital assets as a goods, and how people will be writing the tax bill on VAT, value-added tax. They don't know who they're selling the assets to sometime on the digital asset platform. So maybe more clarifications need to be more forthcoming on this front from the Revenue Department and the Ministry of Finance.
What about you, Dr. Kit? What do you think about this?
Yeah, I
Not
agree.
too much. What would be your advice?
Yeah, I think I agree with that. I mean, like if the government didn't U-turn, so we also need to play by the rules. I mean, like we need to comply to the right thing to do, right? Yeah.
Okay,ครับ
Okay, for today, thank you very much for joining our programs. Thank you, Dr. Prin Panichapak แล้วก็ thank you, Dr. สุภชัย ปาจริยานนท์ค่ะ. So I hope to have you again back on our program ค่ะ For now สวัสดีค่ะ
Thank you.
ขอบคุณมากครับ
ขอบคุณครับ สวัสดีครับ
Thank you.
ครับ